Welcome to the Last Awakening Warriors. I am your host, as always, Joshua David, and I am here with Mr. Johnny Walker.
Walker.
So you messed it up.
Walker.
You messed it up.
Anderson.
No, we got to start over.
Kennedy.
Okay, we'll see you guys in a couple seconds. We got to start the stream over. No, I'm joking. But like, comment, subscribe,
Comment,
share.
for goodness sakes. Comment.
No, we have been getting some more comments.
Brother,
And we
good
appreciate
news.
we appreciate the people who gives us comments, and we read all the comments that we do get, and we take those in consideration on
Future
how-
talks.
on well, that and how we see things too, especially
Absolutely.
when we know that what we're reading is from the love that is in you. So
Absolutely. Where iron sharpens iron.
So
And,
today's message is the attributes of YWHW, or Jehovah, or Yahweh, or whatever other name you want to call him. But Jesus called him the devil.
The devil. Thank you. I was hoping you get to that one. If
Yes.
not, I was going to.
And I
Yes.
want to make sure, because we have to do this every video, just because there's going to be somebody out here. Are you calling the God the devil? No. There is someone masquerading as the God that Jesus talked about within the Bible. And if you don't know the attributes of this person, then you're going to miss a lot of key information, and you're going to end up worshiping the wrong one.
Yep. Which Jesus called the devil.
That one he called the devil.
Yep. Another one is the actual Father that he spoke about being his Father.
Yes, because
Absolutely.
that was the one speaking from within him.
Yep.
Just like when I speak, my
Yep.
Father, my portion, my inheritance speaks from within me outwardly. It's my Father.
Yep.
This is why Jesus said, call no man on earth your Father, because you only have one Father, and he is within you. And he's been there since the day, actually before you was born. Every man coming into this world was given the true light.
Mm-hmm.
John 1:9.
Yep. Say it all the time. Someday somebody will hear it.
And I don't know if I've said this on a video yet. I think I might have said it on one of my TikTok videos, but I haven't said it. And if you're on TikTok, our TikTok is We Are the Law, at We Are the Law. That is, it's also under my name, Joshua David. You can find us either way by searching at We Are the Law, because I couldn't put Last Awakening Warriors. It was too long for the name or whatever. So, us, all of us, every person that is able to have love and has had love within them since their beginning, we are the Father. We make up the Father. Because we are the love that is in this reality.
Yep.
We make him
Yep.
up. He is
Yep.
seen by when you look at someone else and you know that they have the love in them.
You see the fruit.
That's how you see the Father within this reality. He is not a physical thing, except for that he's within a physical body. Mine,
Yeah.
yours, the person 2,000 years ago, whatever his name was, because we don't even have his original name. I don't believe we have his original name.
You know
Just
how
don't.
I like the way that Brother Good News talks about how we're supposed to be, is that we're like the wind. You don't know where it comes from, and you don't know where it's going to be going. All you know is you feel it, right?
Right. And we've
And
talked
that's
about
what
that
you-
too. We've talked about how,
Mhm.
Jesus talked about what your right hand does, don't let the left hand know. What?
Yep.
This is the love that's inside of you, being in the moment always and guiding you in the moment. It does, and you react to it. It's not making plans for the future. It already knows it. It's just guiding you in the moment where you need to go, what you need to do, and where you need to be. And it's freedom.
Yep. Just take the ride.
Just take the ride.
That's why on a few videos I said, listen, when we're just on a ride, we're just taking you with us.
Just taking you with us.
If you're listening to the videos, we're just letting you know what we're experiencing.
Right.
What the Father's telling us.
Right.
We ain't telling you to do anything.
No, we
ain't telling you to follow any word that we say.
And here's the thing. This is the same thing how Jesus showed people the love that he was inside him. He said, I showed you guys and told you guys everything that I was told, and everything that was from the Father, I told you guys.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't teach them nothing.
No. He just told them what the Father told him.
He told them what was within him.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
And then they done the same things. They went and told people what the Father was telling them.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. We're sharing with you with what we have experienced from the Father that's within us in this reality. And we're showing you the truths that we've been shown. That's it.
All he ever said really was, go out and you share. You tell people. You forgive people. You forgive them, they're forgiven. If you don't, they're not.
Right, and that's the good news. I love Brother Good News when he says that, man. That's probably one of my favorite parts of his videos, when he gets done to the end there and he's like, and that's the good news, because everything he just told you was right on point, right on topic, and frees you from the nonsense that you've been taught your whole life.
Dude, it's so funny too, because it reminds me, if anybody watches wrestling, which we know is fake. Don't go at us with it's fake. We know this.
No, it's not fake. It's scripted.
It's scripted.
You're gonna have people banning us now.
I know. It's not fake.
Because you call it fake. It's not fake. It's scripted. And actually, the ending is scripted. The best wrestling, only the ending is scripted.
Yeah, the rest of it they make up on the fly, which is artistry.
Unlike a certain company that will be nameless right now, there's other companies like AEW and NWA Power where that is how it is. There's another company, the Juggernaut Company. Yeah, it's all scripted because somebody wants too much control over things, kind of like an angry God, and he has to have his way or no way. But hey,
well, I was going to say though, is Brother Good News. When he gets to, and that's the good news. Yeah. Peace. And it reminds me of Stone Cold. And that's the bottom line.
Because Stone Cold said so.
Because it's like, and that's the good news. Because love said so.
Oh, man, that would be awesome. That would be awesome if you said that.
That's right. Break it down, Brother Good News. For real. If you guys ain't, listen.
His new one, dude, I just watched the new one he put up today, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right on point. And on the surface, because of the name of the video, you would think that he would be saying something different than what we have said, because, we talk about how you're supposed to deny yourself. And he talks about that same thing, about denying yourself and moving mountains, like this duality of denying yourself versus moving mountains. And we talked about earlier today how it's the same thing. And that when you're denying the self, and the self that you're denying are the negative attributes that you have. It's the guilt, the fear, the shame, the condemnation, the, I'm going to mess up and go to hell, jealousy, vengeance, wrath, murder, like all that negativity. That's what you're denouncing. And that's what's the Father Jesus called the devil.
And now we're running right into the stuff we're going to talk tonight about.
Yeah. And just before we do all that,
unlocking secrets,
we gotta have this.
Welcome to the Last Awakening podcast.
oh no, I think I've lost
Real quick before we get started, if you guys haven't heard Brother Good News, you're missing out, and you need to go subscribe to him. Just take my word on it. Go subscribe to Brother Good News. Everything we've heard him talk about is been truth. It's resonated in my spirit. And I know from talking to Josh, it's resonated with him as well. And so I don't know if you've been able to do it yet, Josh, but if you could put his link in the description, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I will. I'll put his link in the description of this video when we get done tonight.
All right. So shout out
I actually
to you,
think it's under
News.
Good News Ministries now. I think he changed the name of it.
Okay. I know that might make it a little easier to find.
Oh yeah, because on YouTube you put Good News and there's,
there was all kind of stuff. being blind, I have to rely on Google to I just talk to my phone
to find the right thing that you're talking about, right?
The rabbit hole I went in trying to find his stuff, I was listening to all kind of nonsense. But all right, that's that. Love Brother Good News.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Here we go.
So, the reason why, in like this video is kind of an expansion, from my point of view, of what he was actually talking about in his video today, and it's something that I think we kind of overlooked and missed a little bit on some aspects, as far as explaining to people like what is the soul that they're supposed to be denouncing. It's all the negative thoughts and the negativity that runs their life.
Yep.
It's the fear, guilt, shame syndrome that's been perpetrated on them since they were little. They used to love everybody, right? They used to love everybody, everything. You're talking about earlier about, when you was little, going out into a baseball field and playing with your friends, and there was just love there, man. It was in the moment, enjoying and loving life. And that's what we're supposed to be doing here. This is that life that is supposed to be abundant here once you come back into the truth of love. Right. Because you get rid of all the negativity things in your life. You get rid of the I can't overcome, I can't do these things. I need something outside of me to do it for me. No. Yeah. You have the power, you have the authority to govern your own life.
100%. If you look at the dynamic between where we are as an adult,
dude,
and
we were the same, dude.
Child,
we're not speaking anything that we haven't conquered ourselves.
No, and it's not comfortable. Not in all these situations.
No. Like, it's like what you were saying earlier about some of the people that we talk to think like we went and watched a video or something somewhere, or found somebody and we talked to them, and suddenly, we're just going to believe what this guy says.
Yep.
That is so far from the truth, because that's what they did. They went to a church, listened to some guy on a pulpit, and now they believe what he believes and not what their own spirit inside of them has been trying to tell them their whole life.
Yeah. And what they knew to begin with.
Right? Exactly.
That has been put to sleep. The dynamic that you have between where you are as an adult and where you were as a child is that these aspects of these characteristics of the soul that you have to die to, you didn't have when you were a child. Was you fearful as a child, Josh? Or did you climb up on anything and everything without any
I was
hesitation?
talking to Larry at work yesterday and talking about, man, we used to climb trees as big as the ones across the street from our guardhouse. And let me tell you, these trees are like 60, 70, 80 feet in the air. And we used to climb them things to the top, man. Yeah. To the top.
Dude, I remember having my worst fear in my life about sharks.
Now, like before coming back into love, dude, I didn't want to go on top of a 4-foot ladder.
No. Dude, I remember I had scared of heights too as an adult. I didn't have it as a child. I used to climb everything. I used to love watching all kind of marine animals and stuff until I seen Jaws, and then I was afraid to take a bath.
Right.
I was afraid to take a bath. I started taking showers. I was afraid. Listen to this. This is the crazy. I was afraid to go use the toilet because I didn't know what was going to come up out of the water.
Right?
I'm making myself constipated because I wouldn't go use the bathroom.
Man, let me
That's
tell
fear.
you.
That's of the
Yeah,
devil, man.
exactly.
That's of the devil.
Exactly.
That's how we lose the innocence. That's how we lose love. That's how we lose track of who the Father
Yeah.
in us is we're taught to by our surroundings, our upbringing, the society, our parenting, the church, the schools, the government. And that's what you got to get back to. Like Jesus said, you must be like a child or you'll never find the kingdom again.
Right. It means denouncing all those negative things, traits about yourself that you believe are true. They're not.
Your soul learned all these things.
Matter of fact,
Your soul learned them.
this is what Jesus was talking about when he said that the law, the 10 Commandments hangs on the law. It's those things literally hanging on the truth.
Yep.
They're not a part of it. You have to literally rip them off, denounce them. You have to cast that mountain. You got to cast that mountain into the sea, right?
Yep.
You got to take that speck, right? You got to take the log out of your own eye, right? That lie that's in your eye, so you can finally see that your friend over there didn't have a speck in his eye. You had a big log in your eye.
Yep. That's what it was. Always trying to find the
You had a
wrong
big
in
lie
else.
in your eye.
A big lie in your eye. That's good.
But this is what about that denouncing that we keep talking about, and like I said, this is what I really wanted the video to be about tonight, is us explaining what this is. And I thought we had in the past, but it really hit me today. No, we haven't really explained what what the soul really is, what these desires are. The desires that you have are all the negative things that are ruling your life, that are keeping you from having the abundant life that Christ talked about. Plain and simple.
And
so what is stopping you? What is stopping you from having the job that you love to go to? That's a mountain in your life that you have to cast into the sea.
Yep.
That is how you remove the mountains that are stopping you from living this life here. And we've showed in past videos in that verse, it means this life here you have more abundant. It's not one coming in the future when you die or when he returns that you're going to have life abundant. No, it's here, it's now, it's this life right here, the one you're currently in
today.
And watching this video today.
And what would stop you? Now look at this for a second. This job that you want, something that you're passionate about. It seems like it's what you just love. You love
not believing in yourself,
right?
Not believing that you're good enough, not believing that you're smart enough, not believing that you can, that you're the best singer in the world, the best rapper, the best whatever, the best cook, the best writer, the best anything.
I ain't got no talents. That's what all you just looked at. I have no talents. What about relationship? You want a relationship like maybe if you have a mom and dad that you just seen love each other to pieces, or you've seen that in somebody else's relationship. You're like, man, I want a relationship like that. Why can't you have a relationship like that? Because I ain't good looking enough. I'm too fat. I can't hold. I can't do this. She would never like me. I can't find a decent woman. A decent woman would never want me, or a decent man would never want me, depending on what you are, or who you want.
Right. No, and all those are true.
That's me. I'm talking about myself right now. Right. I was too scared to talk to most women. If I thought they were beautiful, or I thought that there were something special about them, it wasn't about the outward beauty either. It's always, I like who the person is too. Always have. Right. I respect women a great deal.
My biggest thing with that was I always loved the person that I believed that person could become.
Yep. Well, mine was not so much that. I loved who people were, who this woman was, or what. But if I thought that they were too pretty, or they were too successful, or they were too this or that, you know, they got all these friends, they have their act together, they're never going to want me. I'm this big fat dude, right?
Right.
And so if I was interested in them, I would never talk to them. If I wasn't interested, or if I thought they were out of my league, I'd flirt all day.
Right.
There's nothing on the line, right?
All right.
There's nothing
Right.
like to me anyway. So I'd flirt all day. That's just the character I am, right?
Right.
But it's because of those the self-loathing. I'm not good enough
Right.
because I'm a big dude. I can't be loved.
Right. And all those
Right.
things, like, I mean, look at the things that you're naming that were stopping you. Most of those were physical things. Most of them, right?
Sure.
It's your perception of who you are. You
Mhm.
believe nobody else
To this
wants, because
world.
the reality
Yeah.
is, in most cases, and I'm speaking for myself right here, most cases I didn't accept me.
Yep.
No one else
Oh,
is
it's
going to
about
accept
not loving
you
myself.
if you
Yeah.
don't accept yourself.
I was disgusted with myself. Absolutely. Self-loathing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it was. Because I don't care about none of that now. I love me some me, bro. I love me some me. I'm a catch. I don't care.
Right?
I don't care. I will flirt with anybody now. Listen, ladies, I'm single. Hello. Holla at me. But no, I ain't got that no more, you know, because I died to that. That self-loathing, that self-hatred, that I'm
You
never
died
good
to the
enough.
lies that you were telling yourself and that the world was telling you was
Exactly.
true. Well, more so
Absolutely.
you, because you're the one under believing these
And
negative
you believed it.
things. Right.
Mm-hmm. Your soul accepted that as truth. And that's
And
and
the
then that's
reality,
how you
it's
live.
not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And this is like one of the things, this is one of the big things when I was younger that got me to the point where in my life that I wanted to severely hurt my family.
Yeah.
Because when I went to school, I found out a lot of things I didn't like about not only what people thought of me for no reason at all. I didn't like that world, and I hated it, and I wanted to leave and go back to before I was in school. And I didn't really understand what I even was hating, and I didn't understand why I wanted to go back to that other place.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was different. It wasn't this world that I was shown, and I wanted to go back to basically the time of innocence, what we call the time of
Right.
innocence in someone's life.
Right.
And
When
that's
you just
back when it was just love, and there was no
Yep.
hatred, there was no malice. It was just love.
Yep.
And
And
you
you were
know, we've
looking at
talked
it
about
like,
this before.
man,
I've spent my whole life getting back to that, man, and I'm glad I'm here now, back as though I was before.
and Josh was telling me, he's told me over a while now, you know, him being able to open up about it and say, listen, I was frustrated with my family because I felt like they sold me a bill of goods. They said the world was like this. This is life. This is
Well, it
and
was
he's like,
it was
he
what
went to
the
school,
it was
wasn't.
it was what I felt that my parents lied to me.
Yeah.
I felt that I was in this thing called love, and I thought that was what life really was. In reality, it is.
Yes, it is.
And I was thrust into this other world,
Yep.
and I felt like, why didn't my parents prepare me for this?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand why. And I've spent my whole life trying to understand what I know now. It's because
I
they were
know
already
when-
living in they was already living in the opposite world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't know the world that I existed because I was the only one existing in that world.
Your world.
It was
your
my
love.
world of
Yeah.
innocence. My world, the one I created when I was little.
I remember first going to school and it wrecked my life.
That's what I'm saying. It wrecked mine
I was
too.
miserable. Dude, I would throw up every day before school and when I got to school. It got so bad that by the time I was in first grade, I ended up in the hospital with Bell palsy from stress.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many years ago, I had another occurrence of Bell palsy where my face collapsed. The right side of my face collapsed again. and it was from stress again, right? It
Right.
reactivated it. You think the stuff that you get, these attributes from the soul, this fear aspect, uh, it will damage you physically. It
Oh
can
yeah.
absolutely damage you physically. So, and we've been talking about that. These people that have dedicated themselves to Yahweh, their whole lives to Yahweh and the ministry, and where we see them at now.
Yeah.
And we know
Where's
this very well because they're in our families.
where's the abundance in their life? Where's the joy? Where's the
Life and life
happiness?
more abundantly. That's
Where
right.
is it?
I'm a straight up say it. My father is a minister, has pastored churches, has evangelized for most of his life in the ministry nearly 60 years.
I can tell you
That's a
this.
that's a lot, dude. That's a life of dedication.
Yeah.
That's impressive to me. I'm impressed by the dedication that he has. Now the problem is that what's been his reward for doing so? He's never had good health. He always struggled financially. And now his mental capabilities are slipping.
Right.
He's 70, 73 years old. Oh, well, that's just part of life. No, it don't have to be. I
So,
know
well,
I ain't gonna
he
bust yours
believes
out,
that
but
he believes that, right?
yeah,
So the way he
yeah,
thinks he is, right?
exactly. And he loves talking about it. You ask him how he's doing, he's going to tell you all the bad crap the doctor's been telling him he's got and all the stuff's going on wrong with his body. And no, no. Listen, I'm guilty of that sometimes too. But you know what? I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. I won't accept that guiltiness, right? Somebody asks me, listen, I got some stuff going on right now. Yep. But I'm going to get through it. Hey, this ain't sticking around. I ain't going to have it. I'm going to see sometime again, too. I will guarantee you that I will see again. So I know you got loved ones in your life dedicated to ministry. They go through some stuff. We know a dear pastor that we love to pieces. He's had Alzheimer's for what, 20 years now? He don't even know who his own self is.
Right.
He's stuck, trapped in this flesh shell, and has been for years, almost a couple decades now. How sad is that? And that's his reward of a lifetime of ministry, a lifetime of devotion to Yahweh. And this is not just a small portion that we happen to know. This is broad span everywhere, right? Everywhere. I know of a church that has like 60, 70 members that attend regular. 10 people recently have cancer. Out of 60, 70 people, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's a lot, man.
That's a reward for their devotion. That's life and life more abundantly. You're going to tell me that's life and life more abundantly. Oh, was it because they don't have faith, I guess? Because that's what is probably told to them. Oh, you'll get healed if you have enough faith. Oh, it's getting worse. What? Your faith's not strong enough. What? Our faith, our persuasion in your doctrine and your beliefs, because that's what faith is the persuasion
Okay,
of a
so
belief.
we're gonna show this verse real quick,
All right.
and we are here in John 10:10. Let me zoom in real quick. Hold on. There we go. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Well,
Yeah.
look at the church. Who's in the church? Because it's being killed, it's being stolen from, and destroyed.
Well, their narrative
And I'm
will say
talking
though,
about
Josh.
no. I'm
They'll
talking
say,
about I'm talking about the people in the church.
yep,
They're being stolen from by the church.
yep,
Their lives are being killed because they're believing
Yep.
the lie,
Mm-hmm.
and the destruction of their surroundings of life.
Yep. Their finances, their families, everything
That's
about
what the
everything.
thief does.
Yep.
I have come that they may have life and have it to its fullness.
Yep.
They may have, let's look up that word. To have, hold, possess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that you're supposed to
Ownership.
have
It's
ownership of, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's look up the word they use for life here. Life. Okay. Both physical, present, right now, today,
Now, physical, the body, right?
and of spiritual, particularly
spiritual.
future existence.
Eternal. Huh. Okay.
Both.
Both physical and
Today,
eternal.
right now, in your physical world, you're supposed to have it more abundant.
So they would say, listen, we're going through stuff because the devil's attacking us, and we are right. We're doing what's right. And our
Then you're
blessings
calling
are stored
Jesus
up
a
in the kingdom.
liar.
No, that's
Because you're not possessing a life that's more abundant.
Exactly.
You're not having it to all its fullness.
Which includes the physical
life.
here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you believe lies that the devil told you.
Yep.
And the devil is the person that's been preaching to you, telling you this nonsense your whole life.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say it right now, that people are being fed a bill of goods from the pulpit. And I ain't saying that the people behind the pulpit are evil people, because they've been lied to like everybody else. They just believe the lie as well. They're only saying what they're taught. But I'm telling you right now, if you continue to speak the lie from the pulpit, you are of your father. And
Just
Jesus
like the
called him the
Pharisees.
devil. Jesus called him the devil.
This is what
See
the
how many
Pharisees
people-
denied.
See if anybody else unsubscribes now.
If they do, oh well. Like, they don't
Yeah.
want to know truth. They want somebody to sugarcoat something and make them feel happy and good. And then their life is constantly falling apart.
Yep. Yep.
They don't understand that they're the arbiter. They're the one who's the decision maker of their life. They
Yep.
are the governor, the ruler, the decision maker for the things that happen in their life.
They have the divine wisdom, like Brother Good News says.
Exactly.
But they don't want
They
it.
don't believe it.
No.
They rather believe that they're a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you tell me in love in was that 1 Corinthians?
1 Corinthians chapter 13. Absolutely.
Yeah, where it says that we're supposed to be a slave.
Nope.
It
Doesn't say
don't.
no bondage in there.
We were released from bondage through the words that love spoke through Jesus.
Yep. Man, when you got outside when you were a kid and you wasn't under the parental control at the time, how free was you? Man, because I'd find whatever to do. Whatever. All kind of free. I wasn't bound by nothing, not even my yard most of the time, even though that was a rule. No bondage in love. There's no bondage in me. I was free like the wind.
But here's the thing. These people don't want to take responsibility for their life. They want someone else to blame.
Yep.
They want someone to blame that's not them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. The second thing, they want somebody then, because if they can't take responsibility, then they can't fix the issue. So then they want to create a God that then is outside of them
Mm-hmm.
to fix the issue, not within them. No, 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 no. They want that God to be wrathful and vengeance to the person they're blaming for their life.
Absolutely. I don't know
And
if anybody heard what was going on just now, but that was my dad mocking us. Don't worry about it. If you heard anything, it's okay. It's okay.
no, I just sounded like somebody walking across the floor. I couldn't really hear nothing. So
Nah, it's interesting, man, because it gets to the point of it's just I don't know. I don't even know what to call it, man. I don't even know what to call it. It's grown people. Grown
no,
people.
it's not grown people.
It's supposed to be grown.
But anyway,
Anyway, go ahead, brother.
where was I? What was I talking about?
You talking about they want to stay in bondage?
Oh, yeah. So they blame things outside of them for the reasons for their life. Then they have to create a God that excuses them from the way their life is. And then they want that God then to punish the people that they're blaming for the issues in their life.
Yeah.
It's madness.
Mm-hmm. I know that.
And I know there's things for some people that people have perpetrated on you. Somebody has done something to you. Well, somebody's done something to all of us.
Sure. There's some people that go through, if you think about women that go through rape, children that are molested, people that have their loved ones murdered.
Yeah.
There's definite stuff that people perpetrate on your person, right? Or your family, your loved ones. Like you go through these things.
And here, this is why Jesus, and this is why it's hard for people to get this.
Mm-hmm.
Your freedom from that person still controlling you and how you feel and your actions is forgiving them.
I was
Your
just thinking
freedom.
earlier, this is great, dude, because I was just thinking earlier about the Lord's Prayer, which I don't like to call it the Lord's Prayer because the Lord is Baal. The prayer that Jesus spoke, that the anointed, that
Yes.
love spoke, told us how to pray. And when it gets to the part where it says, "Forgive us our debts, forgive me of the sins I've committed against love,
Mhm.
and forgive the people that have sinned against my love, the people
Yeah.
that haven't loved me."
The people we put
Forgive
in
the
bondage
people
and the
that-
people that put us in bondage. Yeah.
Yeah. So forgive me for not loving, and forgive people for not loving me.
Yeah.
We have to come to that forgiveness. Again, when you're a child, you see a little baby, smack another little baby, or accidentally hit him with the toy or something, they might cry because it hurt the flesh. It got hurt. But it don't hold the grudge. The other little baby that accidentally hit that one baby, they'll go over there and they'll be like, oh, and they'll kiss it and they'll give it hugs because it didn't want to do it. And the baby that got hit, it'll forgive them. And once the pain from getting hit stops, they're back to playing.
Yep.
There's no grudge holding. There ain't no hating. Right?
And we're
It's
not
not
excusing
love.
the things that people have done to people. That's not what this is
No.
about.
No.
You want freedom, right? People say they
Mhm.
want freedom. Well, freedom comes when you give someone else their freedom.
Yep.
It's not
Don't hold it against
excusing
them
the
no more.
act that they did. That's not what this
Not
is
at all.
about.
Not at all.
This is you being free. You want to be free, you have to give everyone freedom.
You ain't got to be friends with that person even. Move on the other side of the world. Don't go ever around them again. I ain't saying that. I ain't saying invite them over to dinner.
And this is not about guilt. This is not about right and wrong.
Uh-uh.
This is about your freedom.
Absolutely.
You want
Your
to be
freedom.
free, give people freedom.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Yeah.
only way you're ever going to find peace in this life.
Yeah.
Forgive, and it shall be forgiven of you. Like, how many people, because someone done something to you, have you caused hurt and pain and suffering in for 20 years, 30 years, since
Mm-hmm.
whatever happened to you happened?
Yeah, you stop
How much
talking to a loved one.
suffering have
Yep.
you caused because someone caused you suffering? Now, you can
Yep.
either let that cycle keep continuing in your life,
Mm-hmm.
or you can start giving people freedom.
I got family members right now that aren't talking to each other for like 3 months now. And it's causing hurt to continue for their children and for my dad, right?
Mhm.
Because the family is not talking. And that could be easily dealt with. But pride, pride, right? The pride that's in that soul, that I want to be right. I want to be proven right. I didn't do any wrong, right? So that self that we have to die to,
Mhm.
you know, and it continually costs pain. Like you said, there's people that I know that had horrible things happen to them as children. And I remember talking to
The reality is, man, most of us have had horrible things happen to us on this
Sure.
plane of existence.
Sure. I remember talking
And
to
only
a couple.
people will sit here and judge and say that this is worse than this or that is worse than that. Well, in the
Yep.
mind of the person it's being perpetrated on, the worst thing
Mhm.
for them is whatever the worst thing they believe is the worst thing.
Yep.
It has nothing. See, the soul wants to be like, oh, I'm the worst. Oh, no one's had it as hard as me.
Yep.
I mean,
Listen, to Josh, the worst thing that ever happened to me, to him, to me may seem insignificant. Because maybe it wouldn't hurt me as much as it did him. But to him, it's the worst thing that could ever have happened. And vice versa. The worst thing that's ever happened to me, he may think was a light situation. We talk about the things that frustrate me. When something happens that's pretty heavy in life, it affects me. With Josh, it could be something small and you lose it. And we laugh about this thing because we're different, right? And it's okay.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay.
Here, man, this is okay. I don't want to say something that's going to necessarily offend anyone, because the reality is everybody's hurt is their hurt, and whatever hurt is the hurt. Whatever hurts, whatever hurts an individual, whatever cut them the deepest, is no different on whatever that issue is than somebody else and whatever hurt them the deepest. It's
Absolutely.
the same. And this is how there's when you talk about no favoritism, right? In love,
no
right?
respecter of persons.
No respecter of persons. It like
Yeah.
whatever your biggest obstacle is, for somebody else it might be nothing.
Because they're a different person.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we talked about some of these things, man, I liked it the one day I came home, man, and I was frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going off on things, and you was about to get ready to say something to me.
Yeah.
Do you remember that conversation we had later about that?
Which time was it?
When I was frustrated, and the spirit told you, just let me vent.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you was thinking that,
going on.
yeah, you was thinking that, oh, this is just nothing. And
yeah,
but then because you listened to the love that was inside of you, right? You listened to your spirit.
Right.
You got to understand somewhat of like, no, this is a big deal to Josh. It seems like nothing to me, but this is huge for him.
The doorknob.
Oh yeah, y'all that day, dude. The stupid key in the door. Oh, dude, I was about to lose my mind because the key wouldn't come out the door.
And I was thinking, dude, it's so. Without saying it, in my mind, I was thinking, you could just fix that tomorrow, man. Get a different key. You drill it out, whatever. Heck, if you have to, change the doorknob. You know, it was something that I could perceive as something I would deal with a certain way, and it was no big deal. But then I realized the Father spoke and said, "Hey, for whatever reason, this is affecting him. Let him get through it, right?
Mhm.
Don't attack him right now. Don't get religious and preach at him right now, because
Right.
you're gonna make him fight against love. You thinking
Right.
you're talking out of love, you're gonna have him turn on the love that you're trying to hand him."
Right.
Listen, man, the church does that all the time. You in a bad situation, you ain't
That's because
doing
all
good
these
right now.
people are judging
Mhm.
things based upon themselves and how
And their
they would
doctrine,
react to a
their
certain
teaching.
situation. So they
Yep.
determine in themselves right and wrong. No.
Yep.
This is where the
That's
lie
judging.
of right and wrong is coming from, because everyone
Yep.
has a different opinion of what is right and wrong. And
Yep.
it's not just about the 10 commandments. It's about every
Mhm.
little thing. It's about like what we were just talking about, the key in the door. This thing was really making me, unstable in my mind. I was, dude,
Right.
and those are the things that affect me the most, especially
Yep.
before like coming into love. The littlest things, the things that nobody cares about mostly in this world,
Mhm.
are the things that drive me absolutely bonkers.
Yep.
Like
And
me
mine is
having to show 3 IDs to get an ID at the DMV, dude. You don't know how many times, like before like coming into love, I wanted to go in and kill people
yeah.
because what do you mean I got to show 3 IDs to get an ID that I'm trying to get, so then I can get the other pieces, the things that I need.
Right. It gets ridiculous. And my stuff that frustrated me was more like family. Right. Family would get to me like no other. Right. And Josh would be like, just don't talk. Just don't just don't engage. And I'm like, and he used to drive me nuts with that, right? Don't engage. They're in my room. They follow me, right? They're talking right to my face. There's nobody else in here. How am I
But
supposed to not
the crazy
engage?
thing is, right? You know what the crazy thing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen in your life if you didn't?
Exactly. It'd be a lot different. There'd be a lot less conflict, right?
Yep.
Because even though I'm speaking the truth, if it's in a situation where people are upset already, we got to watch that.
Yep.
We got to pay attention to that, because they're going to cast out all the spirit, all the words, your words you speak are spirit. They're going to block the spirit from entering them and resonating in them.
Yep.
They're going to put up a wall to everything you say.
Yep.
Sitting here preaching to myself. Hello.
No, but that's the thing, dude. Like, I just kind of realized this in this moment too, about how if you're truly in love and I'm truly in love,
Mhm.
that how you react to things, and this goes not just for me and you, I mean, this goes for other people in my life too.
Right.
Being aware how does John react to those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are things that you do and how you react to certain situations. I do need to handle them that way in my life.
Right.
Just like me and you talking about this issue right here, right? About
No,
like
definitely vice
not
versa. Definitely vice
engaging
versa.
when
Mhm.
somebody is
Mhm.
already tuned out. Like once
Yep.
they're tuned out, this is
Mhm.
the casting your pearls before the swine.
Yeah, when they come to your
They
room,
they
follow
don't
you to argue
care
with you.
anymore. They don't care
Mhm.
about your opinion. They don't care what you have to say. They are already tuned you out.
Yeah, they want to fight. They're not going to hear no truth from you.
No.
I tell my dad all the time, my sisters would have a situation where they're mad. They're mad as all get out. And he want to come in and start quoting scripture. I said, Dad, don't quote scripture. And he going to make Yahweh look bad. They ain't wanting to hear no scripture, right? I said, this is the
Right.
wrong time to start quoting scripture. And they turn around and say, you know what? Here's where you can put your God. And tell him right where. And I said, you did that. You did that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be mad at them because they just said that about your God. You did that. I was guilty of that for a lot, dude. That was my same struggle. That's been my same struggle with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Is that people coming at you to fight you, right? Because they will come in to fight you.
Yeah.
They will come to tear down the truth. And in that
Well,
moment,
they're doing two things,
let
right?
'em-
They're coming to steal.
kill, destroy.
Yeah, they're coming to steal your truths.
Yeah. They want to prove you wrong. Let them speak their piece. Let them speak what they have to say.
No, I don't. I don't let them. I don't answer the
Thing
phone.
is, like, oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Ain't
They
happening.
ain't necessarily coming to your place. I live with you.
No, it doesn't matter. It
live-
doesn't matter who it is. I'll leave. I'll leave the room. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me.
I'm the thing. Like,
They're not going to attempt to try to take the things that I know are true. It's not going to happen. Like, I have to guard myself.
The thing is that I can't. I don't even feel like I have to guard what is who I am.
No,
I have
I'm
no
talking
fear in
about
me.
the self that can be manipulated. There's a part of you
The soul
still
part.
that
The soul
can be
portion. Yeah.
manipulated if you
Mhm.
allow and entertain those things.
True.
Especially when you
Yep.
know truth and you're having someone trying to come and tear down and steal those things which you were already given as truth.
What would you say about the pastor that wants to come and talk to me?
If you feel like that is what you should do, I would do it. But like I said, once it I told you this. I told you we've talked about this already. Once it gets to a point,
a aggressive nature, you might say.
once it gets to a point where you can no longer have civil dialogue,
Exactly. Respectfully.
you need to either tell them to leave or sit there and say nothing.
Yep.
I personally would tell them, I thank you guys for your time. This was a good discussion. I would like to pursue this further if you guys would like to later, but I believe it's time for you to go.
Yep. Calmer heads are not prevailing right now.
Because like I said, if it's only going to be their way, and you're sitting like they're teaching you something, no.
Yeah. I know all I need to know. It's all within me. All truth.
Exactly.
It's like the sister I get to talk to, weekly. She sits and we respectfully talk. She gets to talk. I get to talk. She gets to talk. I get to talk. And that's the way it should be done. There should be no harsh feelings. That ain't in love. All that craziness ain't in love.
No, people getting angered and mad and because the reason why that happens is because like you're destroying their temple and they know it, and they know the things that you're saying are correct.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what I say. If you feel that the Father wants you to do it, then I would. I'm not beyond civil discussion about things.
Nope.
If it's
fine.
You're trying to prove what I believe wrong, and you're going to be yelling and saying and doing things and saying that I am possessed and a demon You know, all this nonsense. No, I'm not listening
Yeah.
to that nonsense.
Yeah,
It's not
I
going
get
to
that a lot.
happen.
I get that a lot. That's right. Let's tie this back to Yahweh's attributes,
All right.
all the stuff we've been talking about. Just for the sake
I think we
of,
have. I think we've been talking a lot about his attributes.
sure, the attributes of the soul,
Yep.
the parts that you need to deny. And if you look back at the word, there's all kind. Go to the Old Testament. There's the one story of David. You want to go ahead and tell that story real quick with the census?
Go ahead.
There's two real good ones. Well, you know the story a little bit.
No, I don't. You know, just you know.
All right, let's go. So, I believe it's 2 Samuel, 1, and also 1 Chronicles 1. I believe those are the two chapters. It tells the same story of how.
No, I don't think
David-
that's right.
You don't think it's 2 Samuel?
I thought it was like 2 Samuel, like 22 or something.
2 Samuel 24 and 1 Chronicles 21. That might be it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. So these two chapters are the same thing, talking about how David was asked to do a census on the people, to count the people, and then
Okay, what was the second verse? 2 Chronicles.
1 Chronicles 21.
I don't know why I always think that one's second Chronicles. Okay, 1 Chronicles
21.
21. And we showed this many a times.
Yeah.
And I think the 2 Samuel is I think it's around verse 10 where the other part is that we need.
I know they both start off different. One says the Lord.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Don't jump ahead.
All right.
No, I was talking about the 2 Samuel where, it actually says what David did. I have that.
Yeah.
It's verse 10. See, I always remember the verse 10 part of that. I never remember the verses where they're at.
So 2 Samuel 24:10.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one for the main part of the discussion, and then verse 10 is where David actually tells you where he was convicted of and then what he decided to do.
Yeah.
So this is 2 Samuel 24:1. Again, the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he incited David against them, saying, "Go and take a census of Israel and Judah."
Mm-hmm. And so he did.
And so he did.
Yeah.
And then when we're over here in verse 10, David was conscience stricken after he had counted the fighting men, and he said to the Lord, "I have sinned greatly in what I have done. Now, Lord, I beg you, take away the guilt of your servant. I have done a very foolish thing."
Mm-hmm.
The King James said, and David's heart smote him.
Yep. He felt guilt
Yes, where?
in his heart.
Yep.
So he felt guilty for doing what the Lord told him to do.
Yep.
And then he goes on to ask to be punished for doing wrong.
By the Lord.
So, yep.
Now,
Yep.
I would say that he was stricken in his heart, not by the Lord.
Yep. By love.
I would say it was love, yes.
Yep.
David was conscience stricken in his heart, because that's what heart and the Father in heaven is within you. That's why the heart is associated with love. That's where it permeates
Mhm.
from. And
But what this caused, though,
that's what the word conscience means in this thing, the inner man, mind, will, heart. This part of him told him what he had done, which was counting to
Mhm.
people, which was wrong in counting to people.
yeah,
And he told the Lord he had sinned. He
Mhm.
told the Lord he had sinned. The Lord didn't tell him he sinned.
he told the Lord, and then he asked
Then,
to be punished.
then he asked the Lord, which is Yahweh,
Yep.
to be punished.
Mhm.
And there's a reason why we're saying this, and there's a reason why we're explaining this. Most people, well, what does those things have to do with anything? Well,
Mhm.
when you don't do things out of love, you will be conscience stricken. And even in the soul, you will be filled with guilt and conscience stricken.
Yeah.
Um,
You do something that you then perceive as wrong, you're
but
going
this
to
was
feel
something that
guilty.
right, but this was something that was happening within him,
Mhm.
and now he's telling the Lord, who most of you believe is outside of you, because that
Mhm.
Lord Yahweh he's not inside of you.
Yeah.
He's telling him to punish him.
So you
So
have the guilt, and
yep,
then now you go to the part where being
you're
submitted
you're
with.
gi- you're giving your authority over yourself
Mhm. Mhm.
to Yahweh to now
Mhm.
punish you for your guilt.
And then it's interesting. That's a very good point, Josh. Uh, Giving away the control and your self control, your control of your own
Yes, your
spirit.
sovereignty. David gave his
Mhm.
own sovereignty over to Yahweh to punish him. This is the same thing that will happen to those people who keep judging people in this life.
Yep.
They are going to give this entity the right to condemn them.
Pour wrath upon them. The wrath they stored up for themselves
Right?
is what the word says. When you judge another, you're storing wrath for yourself,
That would be
storing wrath
poured out
upon your own
upon
head.
you
Mm-hmm.
by the judge on the day of judgment.
Yep. That you
Well,
give power to do so.
you're
Yep.
giving the power to someone to do it. These are the errors that the anointing who came within this man 2,000 years ago was trying to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Stop giving your authority over to something else. This was what was wrong with Israel.
Go
They
ahead and
gave
go on
their
to
authority over to
yep.
someone else to rule over them instead of being
Yahweh.
self-ruled by themselves.
Yep. They followed Yahweh and what Moses taught that he got from Yahweh. But go on to where he's presented with a choice for the punishment. And then you come up with another characteristic that comes from the soul. And I want to point that out for people.
Before David got up the next morning, the word of the Lord came to Gad. The prophet, David's
Mm-hmm.
seer. Go and tell David, this is what the Lord says. I am giving you 3 options. So now David, who gave control and authority over him for being to punish him, is now given 3 options to choose from.
He's going to choose his
Choose
punishment.
one of them for me to carry out against you. I'll
Mm-hmm.
repeat that. Choose one of them for me to carry out against you. Well, what if David actually chose none? Guess what would be perpetrated on David and the people of Israel? Nothing.
Nope, because he didn't pick nothing. He gave the power to the Lord.
You have to give Satan, the devil, your power to abuse you.
And here in a second, Josh is going to show you where it's definitely Satan in this story. We'll look that up and show you how it's definitely Satan.
Yeah, I already got it looked up, but we'll show him. Yeah.
All right. So
So
he
Gad
chooses
went.
one.
So Gad went
Go
to
ahead.
David and said to him,
Mhm.
"Shall there come upon you 3 years of famine in your land, or 3 months of fleeing from your enemies while they pursue you, or 3 days of plague in your land? Now then, think it over and decide how I should answer the one who sent me. Let me tell you something. Who did Yahweh have go tell David these things?
Gad.
A prophet.
Yeah. It was a
Because
prophet.
he can't do nothing in this realm
Without a prophet speaking it.
without a prophet speaking it, because the prophet believes what he is saying.
Mm-hmm.
The prophet is also manifesting.
Yep. Yep.
So now you're going to have two people, David and the prophet, be in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when two people are in agreement, John? It shall be done.
Yep.
They're the ones doing this. And they're giving this Lord Yahweh, the one who's calling himself that. This isn't who this is here.
Mm-mm.
We're going to find out here in a minute who it really is.
Yep.
They're giving their authority and their power and their sovereignty over to someone else. They're being used and now being abused. And now real people are going to suffer because of what these two people manifested, because they agreed.
Yep. They put faith in. They were persuaded. And
David
believed.
said to Gad, I am in deep distress. Let us fall into the hands of the Lord, for his mercy is great. But do not let me fall into my human hands.
So he was scared. So now he has fear.
Yep.
And fear is from where?
The fear is from the devil.
Because love casteth out all fear. So the Father would not perpetrate fear upon you in any way.
Not any way,
Like
shape, or
David.
form.
Like David is feeling right here. Okay.
So
So
the
he
Lord
goes
sent
on.
a plague on Israel
Mhm.
from that morning till the end of the time designated. And 70,000 of the people from Dan to Beersheba died.
So people
All
died because David was
two
too scared
people
to get, Mm-hmm.
gave authority over to this character calling himself Yahweh in 2 Samuel.
Mm-hmm. So this character calls himself Yahweh, and he caused not only guilt, but fear, and then death of many people.
Yeah.
Now, Josh is going to go to the exact same story,
Fear.
almost word for
The
word.
thief came to steal, and destroy. That's what happened in 2 Samuel.
Yeah, I did.
All because
also,
Yahweh burned against Israel and caused David to give a census.
Count the people. Now Josh is going to show where the steal, kill, and destroy happened again. The same exact story with David doing the census, being asked to do the census. But remember in 2 Samuel 24, it said the Lord's anger burned against Israel and asked David to count. Yep. Now Josh is going to go to 1 Chronicles 21:1.
And the anger, again, the anger of the Lord. And you look up the Lord here. Yohe-Vahe. Yahweh. Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know it's the correct one, right?
Yeah. That's what it says there, Yahweh.
No, you're going to see the correction
Mm-hmm.
in the New
Same story.
Testament.
Same story now, people.
First Chronicles 21:1. Satan rose up against Israel and incited David to take a census of Israel.
What? Who got David to do it? Satan.
And we even find out in the next verse here. So David said to what is it, Joab, the commander of the troops, go count
Yeah.
Israel from Bathsheba to Dan.
Mm-hmm. The people that got killed.
The 7,000 people who got killed.
You know, hearing this preach from the pulpit, Josh, I don't know why.
You won't hear this in the pulpit being preached.
You point out something pretty interesting. One place it calls it Yahweh, and now he's being called Satan because why? Jesus told you he's the devil.
He is the devil. He is the accuser. And this is the same Satan that David gave Yahweh his authority to. He gave it to Satan.
Yep.
The one calling himself Yahweh at certain times in the Old Testament.
Yep. And and listen, Yahweh when it is not really him, when it is Satan, when it is the devil, by his attributes. Is he killing?
Is he punishing people? Is the thief killing, stealing, and destroying? That's the thief.
Jealous?
If that's happening in the Bible, I don't care what name it is, what name some guy gave it a couple hundred years ago, if that person is killing, stealing, destroying, that's the thief. Because that's what he comes to do.
Comes like a roaring lion, right? And we already went through that
Seeking
video.
who he may devour.
You could
Also,
check that
the
video
character
out.
Yahweh.
Yep.
And I'm saying that it's Yahweh because this character has disguised himself as Yahweh.
He stole the name. He exalted himself upon high and called himself God.
And it's not even,
He
I don't even
took the
think it's
name.
his name.
Nah. He stole it.
Because we see in other places where that same name is doing loving, kind things out of love. And asking like, who commanded you to do all these sacrifices that you're doing?
I didn't do this.
Like, huh?
Yep.
Isaiah chapter 1, I believe it is. Who commanded you to do all these sacrifices? I'm sick of them.
Yep. And we know that aligns with the Father of Jesus because he said his Father, love,
his will is mercy.
Is mercy rather than sacrifice. So that's for Yahweh in the Old Testament to say, who told you to do this? When it was obviously Yahweh, this other Yahweh that literally said to, right?
Yeah, this character perpetrated himself as Yahweh, yes.
Yeah. He said to do this for every kind of sin, every kind of this, every kind of that. You kill something, right? There's got to be blood. Well, then Yahweh says in Isaiah, who told you to do this? Like, oh, it wasn't me. So there's a distinct difference here where the church will tell you it's all the Father. It's all the Father of Jesus. It's all the Father of them. It indeed was the Father that used to be of me, myself, which is no longer. I see the enemy for who he is, and I see the Father for who he is. And that's who I really am inside.
Right.
And this has been a good talk, dude. We weren't sure where this was going. We were just going to talk. We were going to talk about the attributes of Yahweh.
Yeah, and just let everybody know
Mm-hmm.
the prophet's name is always pronounced Gad, but if you go look at the phonics of the word, it's the word God.
Yeah.
And that name of this prophet came from, I believe, the true name of this character who calls his name Yahweh sometimes. Because his true name is Gadoliel. Gad for short.
Mm-hmm. The serpent in the garden.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which they just happened to put the word God everywhere. And instead of spelling
All over
it
the place.
instead of spelling it G-A-D, the phonics of the word is God. They spelled
Mm-hmm.
it G-O-D.
OD. And since there was a bunch of gods, well, they got to give it a big G.
Right?
Because that's all that separates, the true Father from all these other gods is a bigger little G. Come on now.
So the other verse that you talked about, which I already had thrown up here too, was 1 John 4:18. There is no fear in love.
Yeah.
So when you come into the true love that Paul talked about, where afterwards when you come into that love, there's no more speaking in tongues or prophecy, there's no fear in that love.
Yeah.
But perfect love drives out all fear, because fear has to do with punishment.
Mm-hmm.
There's no punishment in love. None.
No.
It just told you right here.
No
The one
punishment
who
in love.
fears is
so
not
when
made
Yahweh-
perfect in love.
So there's no punishment in love, although Yahweh punished the crap out of his own people all over the place in the Old Testament.
Well, the one calling
With
himself
the-
Yahweh, yes.
Exactly. All the way from Bathsheba to Dan, people were killed. Why? Because God and David said, okay, David picked it. God told Yahweh, he picked this. All right, done.
In the study Bible part over here, it says, but love drives out fear because fear involves punishment.
Mm.
To have, hold,
Fear
possess.
involves punishment.
Fear holds, possesses. It has punishment. It's the same word that we used that we were looking up the other earlier.
Mhm.
It's the same word. It has
That's
punishment.
interesting.
Chastisement,
you allow-
punishment. Oh, look at
Yeah.
the Lord chastises us. No, he don't.
A loving father chastises
No, he
his
don't.
people. No. Nope.
Punishment, torment, perhaps the idea of deprivation.
Deprivation, to deprive? Hmm.
I think that's the word. I might not be saying it right.
Okay.
Let me go look it up. Deprivation. There we go. Deprivation.
Oh, deprivation.
Oh, the damaging lack of material benefits considered to be basic necessities in a society.
He deprives you.
Huh.
Oh, so fear deprives you. Fear does
The
deprive
lack
you.
or denial of something considered to be a necessity. Poverty.
Yeah.
Impoverishment. No wonder the church people are poor.
Dude, and that comes from fear.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
So when you deny fear, you deny these attributes, you
Live more abundantly?
you live more abundantly. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Imagine that. You don't have lack, but you actually are having abundance.
Yeah, you have confidence.
Mm-hmm. Listen, am I married? No. Why? Because so many years of fear depriving me of it. Depriving me. Yep.
I would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not so sure about being married, but
Oh,
obviously.
well, no, yeah, we didn't go through that. That wasn't a Freudian slip. I'm not in a relationship with a love
For the
because I
spirit,
deprived myself
for
of
the
it.
spirit the Father gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Second
Confidence.
Timothy 1:7. This is the spirit that you've already had inside of you. It's called love.
Yep.
You have to return to your first love. Love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your first love is not a God way out a billion light years away calling himself
No, it's
Yahweh.
love what's inside of you.
It's the love that's in you. Is your first love is love. Yep. That's really good.
1 John 4:12. For no one has seen the Father, but if we
What?
love but if we love one another, the Father lives in us, and his love is made complete in us. Yes, I
Yep.
know it says the other word, but guess what? I don't believe in that word.
Mm-mm.
That's a nonsense word that was made up by some people.
What word is it?
God.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Father's love is made perfect in us.
Luke 1:74. To rescue us from the hand of our enemies, and to enable us to serve him without fear. Serve without fear. To serve. Perhaps simply, I worship.
Mm-hmm.
Worship without fear.
Worship without depriving. Huh. Because fear deprives.
Yep. Fearlessly, without fear, shamelessly. Worship
No shame.
fearlessly, shamelessly.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't attributes of people in the church. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Those are good words.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
words. And that's how to study. People, they listen. We ain't going to tell you how to do everything and how to find the Father or anything like that.
Look,
This was simple. Looking up definitions of words will bring you to what they truly mean.
look.
It's not hard.
All you have to do is go to Bible Hub,
Mm-hmm.
click a verse you want
Free
to
resource.
know what it says, and look up the words that your spirit tells you to look up.
Yep. Yep. What's this really mean? What's its origin? Well, there's this saying. Well, where's it come from? That's how we got to the video from the other day about asking Jesus into your heart. It didn't come until the 1800s and then didn't really spread everywhere until the 70s.
It didn't become mainstream
1970s.
until in the 1970s. Yeah.
Yeah, popped up here in the 1920s and then didn't go mainstream here until the 1970s.
But it was only invented the last 200 years.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
And it wasn't even something that people went and told other people to say to be saved or to be born again. That's not what they were saying. This was a phrase used to refer to people who hadn't been born again. That's where it really came from.
Yeah.
That's where the idea and the theology of that came from, at least from written history that we have.
Right.
So, like, it wasn't even a thing for that people were having people do in a church service until the 1900s.
And then all of a sudden, people behind the pulpit were saying, come up here and ask Jesus in your heart.
Yep.
Not even knowing what you're really saying to do.
Not even knowing nothing.
Yeah. And again, I wonder if that is taught in the courses when they teach you the altar call now. Do they teach you to tell people to ask Jesus in their heart?
Oh, they believe
They
that's the
teach
only
them
way
that
you
too.
can be saved. They believe that's the only way you can be saved.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Jesus told you to be born again, not saved, so whatever.
Yeah. You need no savior if the Father's been in you from the beginning. Now, do you?
Right? You
Doesn't make
you
sense
already
that
have
you
it.
need a savior if you have a portion of the Father in you.
You just need to
Who
stop
needs saving?
believing those lies.
Yep.
Put down those negative attributes, and that's what we were doing for the last 5 years, up until the point things finally switched for us.
Yep.
And we were constantly just denying the lies
Mm-hmm.
about ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
denying
Yeah.
those things.
Yep. And it's a process, and it's uncomfortable
Denying
at
that I
times.
needed someone outside of me to love me. No, I don't. I needed me to love me.
Yep.
I needed me to forgive me.
That's what mine was too. How many times on the phone, dude, was I in tears
Quite
from
a
not
few.
having from not having the acceptance and the love from somebody outside of myself
Yeah.
that I thought I should have, that I thought was owed to me
Yep.
because I was their descendant.
Yep.
It's owed to me.
Yep.
He got it from his father. Why can't I get, or his dad? Why can't I get it from my dad? Right?
Right.
I'm just going to listen. I'm just going to be open book. I don't care. This is my life I'm talking about. This is my struggle and my journey that I went through.
Yeah.
So I'll just talk about it. This ain't knocking on nobody. This is my story. I believed I deserved love and acceptance and
A
acknowledgement.
certain way. A certain way.
A certain way. The way I saw this other person get from their dad. I wanted that too. And I wasn't getting it. And it was destroying me. And it destroyed me for years. And every time I thought I was over it.
Man, that was 5
rebounded.
years. That long 5 years for me, brother, about that.
Long
No,
time.
man. It like, man, you know.
Yeah.
It took that long to get over it, man.
Yeah. It did.
It took
And
that
every
long
time
for
you
me
thought
to get
you-
over that I needed someone I needed someone
to call
outside
your
of
own.
me
To call it. Yep.
to
Mhm.
love me for who I was. That wasn't that was that that loved me the way I wanted to be loved by myself, but I wanted it to be someone else.
Right.
I wanted that person to be the motivator in my life when
Mm-hmm.
no one can be my motivator but me.
Do you want your pretty little thing on your arm? You know? I mean, like, it's just what it is.
No, I just wanted someone to love me for me.
Yeah.
So
And
you had
and it was difficult getting to. It was difficult getting to the point where, gosh, man, the frustration of thinking that you have achieved conquering that, and then the realization that it hadn't went anywhere. You just buried it under religious teachings,
right.
you know, under this facade that you're taught,
Mm-hmm.
all this fakery you're taught, and then
I
it
mean,
rebounds and it's back in your face. It's back stealing and killing and destroying. You know,
Yeah, because you're allowing that to rule your life,
absolutely.
and you give it all the
Absolutely.
power to destroy you every time.
Now, if you don't ever find that person to show you that love that you were trying to find before, is it going to affect you ever again in your life if it never happens in this life, Josh?
What if I never find someone to love me how I want to be loved?
Yeah. Will
Well,
that affect you ever again?
No, because I know who's supposed to love me the way I'm supposed to be loved.
Me.
Yeah.
You.
The love inside of me. Yes.
Yes, yes. If I don't receive that acknowledgement, that acceptance,
I don't. That's the thing. I don't
it's
need that
okay.
acceptance or
I
anything
don't
from
need it.
anyone else.
I don't need it. If it never happens, it never happens, and it just is what it is. I
No,
don't need it.
literally,
I'm not seeking
literally,
it.
like I don't. I'm not searching for that anymore. That's not what I want in life.
No, that's what I'm saying. If it don't happen, it don't happen. I don't need it.
I mean, if
Listen, if it comes to me now, it's not like I'm gaining a prize, right? It's not this prize thing
I don't
that I
think
always
it
wanted
can
no
come
more.
to you now because that's not what you want. That's not what you're searching for.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Can there be someone in this life that loves you? Of course.
Sure. People have found that. I've seen it.
But you're not making basically, you're not making someone your God.
Nope.
Where your
Not anymore.
emotions depend on that person.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the arbiter of your truth. They're the arbiter of your happiness. They're the arbiter of your joy.
No.
And I think this is why, and this is my opinion on this, I think this is why Jesus told us not to take vows and get married. The prime reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because that person becomes the arbiter, it becomes your God, and you become their God. And their happiness and joy, it depends on the other person. It's not permeating and coming from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from someone else.
Now, again, we're not saying you can't have a relationship. Don't go there. Don't come at us with that. That's not what's being said.
What do you mean?
With another person. We're not saying you can't have a relationship with another person.
Not at all.
No. We've already talked about our stance on vows. Vows put you in bondage.
Right, and it makes you a slave to someone. Someone's going to be the debtor, and someone's going to be the dettee.
Yep.
Someone's going to be the god, and someone's going to be the peasant who gets the crap beat out of him.
Yeah, in some ways, and in a lot of marriages, this happens. It does. No, the person you decide to be with somebody, you should be complimenting each other, just a compliment to each other. Like, you have the love for yourself, all the love that you need for yourself, you already have. This person is just complimenting you, right? They're adding to the enjoyment and the life more abundantly you have here. And you should be that way to them too. You should just be the person complimenting the life that they have here. Thoughts? Thoughts are brewing?
Yeah. No one person in this life is supposed to be your everything.
No.
Except for you.
No. Yep.
And that's the love within you being everything you need.
That's what I mean, that it should be just a compliment to this life, an enjoyable addition, right? You enjoy this person's company. You enjoy being around this person.
Yeah, and you can live or live without them. It doesn't matter. Live with them or live without them. Your sovereignty, your yourself doesn't. It's not dependent on someone else. And man, the things two people that get together like that, who are sovereign in themselves. The
and
things
they come
they
together
can do.
and agree, agree on
agreement on
things.
Thing. Yeah.
Whew, we know in the books taken out of the Bible, it said when these two come together and agree, they can say to a mountain, "Be thou removed and cast into the sea." It'll be done.
Yeah.
You get two people that are solid in their truth, solid in love,
in their love,
and in their sovereignty. Yeah, and then they agree. Whoo, the power. watch out.
Right?
Some stuff moving. Imagine having that in your relationship. You know, come on. I almost sound like a preacher. Come on, like somebody's going to say amen. Don't be saying amen in the comments now. We don't want none of that. Calling on the Egyptian god Amen Ra. Not in the comments, please. No.
Good times,
Dude.
man. Good times.
It's been a good talk.
I've enjoyed it.
It went all kind of way more than we were thinking.
Yeah, this has been a long one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems longer than the last few that were like an hour. This one seemed like a 2 hour.
This is an hour and 35 minutes right here.
Okay. It's not. It's not some of our first ones. Our 2 hours and something. But I'm good, dude. I feel comfortable in the words spoken.
Me too.
I feel a good release of spirit.
And for those who watch this, if there's things that we're talking about and maybe you don't quite understand or are wondering why we're saying some things that we are, just remember, we have other videos where we talk a lot about these things, and every video we can't go back and go over everything we've already went over in another video. It's just too much. It's just too much.
Talking for days.
We would literally be here for hours upon hours.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we're going to close out, right?
If you do have questions and you don't want to live in the comments, our email address is lastawakeningwarriors@gmail.com. I understand not everybody wants to put stuff in the comments.
Yeah,
we would love comments. We would love comments.
Right.
And the ones we get, we appreciate greatly.
Greatly.
But if you don't, lastawakeningwarriors@gmail.com. Put the big
like, share, subscribe.
Yep.
Hit the notification bell.
We love you.
And as always, do your Father's will.
Unlocking secrets of the universe.
Welcome to the Last Awakening podcast.
Oh no, I think I've lost my mind. I think I've lost it all. Oh no,
I think
I've lost my mind.
I've lost it all.
Welcome to the awakening.
But I've gained everything.